what being a deal finder allowed us to do. Traditional wholesaler, that allowed us to assign contracts that we were making income, we're making active income in order to replace our day job. A little bit about me. Yes, Michelle, she's behind the camera there. She's got us rolling. We've been married for quite a while now, and thankfully, I had my first house right before we got married, right before we met, and I think she kind of knew she was in for a wild ride. And so the last, what was that? So yeah, the last 15 years, 17 years of investing, 15 years of marriage has been a wild ride where we've been no kids and a couple of houses, and then a couple of kids and a lot of houses. And we continue to just do this since 2018 full-time as investors. Now, of course, we really enjoy doing these events and having the community come and building that network and people locally that are doing the business, as well as across the country. In South Carolina, we have such a good market space. We love just sharing that and helping people support you. Yes, we are. Those are our beautiful kids. I think that's from this year, and they are part of the business as well. Teach them young. I tell you one thing, Emery had a test on counting change the other day, got 100 on it. He knows his quarters, nickels, and dimes. That boy knows how to count it. So I want to just kind of take you back a little bit. Some of y'all may have heard this story, but this is the house that I grew up in. That's the house where, and again, thinking about the kids, if you have children or if you don't have children, but if you think back to how you were raised and some of those pivotal moments in your life as you're growing up, it's shaped you to where you are now and how you see the world. And I distinctly remember way back at some point living in that house where my mom said, man, it sure would be nice. No, I think I said it'd be nice to build one of those houses. We used to, neighborhoods growing, building stuff. It'd be really cool to have one of those and sell it. And my mom was like, I remember her saying, well, son, it takes money to make money. Those real estate agents, those developers, they're the ones making all the money because they've got money and they're able to make money with it. And that stuck with me. And honestly, it could have, I don't know that it swayed me. I'm the middle child, so I'm like, maybe a little bit of, didn't really listen very well to her, but it stuck with me to think that, that's the way most of us think, that it's just not possible for me to do those things because I don't have money. I'm not starting where they are. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a complete lie. No, it couldn't be further than the truth, further from the truth, right? Because especially today, there's so many opportunities to stack and build wins and build some income so that you can then make bigger investments. So think about those things. I wonder if you have heard any of those lies. I'll call it a lie. If you've heard any of those and how has it shaped you, y'all can leave comments. Any questions, comments, by the way, you guys can post it now in the feed, in the chat box. I'm watching a little bit. Michelle's watching for me, so we can make sure to answer any of that. So my mom told me that a long time ago, but my problem is that God put this little entrepreneurial bug in my gut. And I knew from an early age, I wanted to do something different. And I was trying to make money as like a seven-year-old. I don't know, but fifth grade. I remember back to fifth grade. If y'all remember, there was Game Boys back then. Yeah, the little Game Boy, and then the Sega had one. I remember the name Game Gear, maybe. Well, I never really, I played games a little bit, but I had one, but I didn't really care about the games for whatever reason. But all my buddies loved those games. They wanted to play them. And we went on a trip to Space Camp, and I just rented my Game Boy out to my friends. And I didn't care about the game, but I surely did like that extra $1 or $2 just for renting it out, because then I could go buy candy or whatever. So that's how I started. And I'm sure some of y'all have done this too, because I know so many people in our community, so many people in our group, especially, and some of our deal partners have told me they did the same thing. They were selling candy, they were washing cars, pressure washing, doing all these different things, trying to figure out ways to make extra income, make extra cash, get above that job they had, right? Just because you have a job and you're making X dollars an hour or a year Doesn't mean that's it. That's all you have. Plenty of y'all have go through some of these. So I want to know if anybody has done any of these ATMs, vending machines. Y'all let us know. Put it in the chat. I'm curious. I know that I went through evaluating all of these options. Thankfully, I didn't like go down the road on all of them, but I did do this one, credit card processing. We used to sell credit card processing, that exact little terminal, which, as you all know, that's basically gone because you just do it all on your phone now. So good thing that wasn't my career. But anyway, all of these different ways that you can start a business on the side or with a little money, or really you just needed some time and some energy. And that's what was driving me through as I left college, and then we had kids, and Michelle was like, "Hey, come on, you could do more than that, right?" I'm just kidding. She wasn't doing that. But I just knew there was something else. And in 2007, that's where landed with real estate, because in college I thought those landlords we were paying rent to were the smartest people in the world. They must have been filthy rich. Now I look back and like, they weren't making anything on the rent they were charging us. But that's the first house, was 2007. And the thought was, when I bought that, was that in 30 years it'd be paid off, because I'll have tenants for 30 years. They'll never leave. They'll never break anything, right? It'll be always rented. It'll be wonderful. And in 30 years, it'll be paid off, and then I can make money from it. And that was seriously my thought. And I say that out loud. I'm like, what an idiot. But that's what I thought, because I didn't have a class like this. I didn't have any education in business, real estate, those types of things. And then Michelle and I, we get married, and we start talking about different things. We ended up with another rental in 2013, and then 2013 and the second one in Texas Street. That's when we started looking at this as maybe a business. Like, let's get a couple of rentals so that in 30 years we'll have a couple of cash flowing assets after we, quote, retire, in 30 years of working. And then Maryland Street. So those were just kind of like, we knew we were going somewhere, but we didn't really know how we were going to get there, what we were going to do. We were not necessarily real deal finders. It was just a couple of opportunities popped up. I found the first 2007, it was listed on the market. 2013, it was listed on the market. 2013 again, it was, that was actually a good deal finding. It was where I wrote a letter to a homeowner. 2015, that was an auction website. You see, we're kind of progressing here. We're finding deals, but we didn't really have a plan. We didn't know what we were doing. We weren't making any profit from it. We needed to learn more. This is Michelle. This is the turning point. She loves when I use this picture. I know it. This is the turning point where we said, we're doing this wrong. We had 4 rental properties and no money was coming from it. We were forced to do the painting. We were having to do the turn when the tenant moves out. I had to fix the toilets, that kind of stuff. We knew we were doing it wrong and we needed some help. And so that's where a mentor, a friend, gave us this book, Hold. I always still recommend it. It's a really easy read that taught us how to actually buy real estate profitably and hold it profitably. And we decided that we wanted to go, we were either going to sell those rentals or go all in. And we decided to go all in. This is the first buy it to flip it property where we did the full renovation there. And that sold. I was signing paperwork when little Emery, no, is that Emery? Mm-hmm. Yeah, when little Emery was being born. So I was in the hospital room. This is our 3rd kid. So Michelle was like, you can leave. I don't need you anymore. I'd like to have some sleep, some quiet time. But we sold that, signed the paperwork while we were in the hospital. And that's when the ball started rolling. We had hired a mentor to help us buy and flip, and a mentor to help us buy and hold. And we were off to the races. This is 2016. So this is the let's go time. We became real deal finders, and we were actually working the business. We were trying to grow the business. 2016, Clark Street, that was that house, sold, and we ended up with 6 rental units at the end of that year. 2017, successfully deal finding with 25 new units brought in. And then as we started to learn this business a little bit better, really get involved, and of course, Michelle and I were both working full time at that time, made deal finding a business through wholesaling at the end of 2018. That's where we had really figured out kind of the process and said, you know what? we can actually step away from our jobs and support ourselves through wholesaling. In 2019, it was 20 wholesale deals and 45 units for our rental portfolio. And it's just grown ever since then. And so that's what being a deal finder allowed us to do. Wholesaling, traditional wholesaling, we're going to talk about that. That allowed us to assign contracts that we were making income. We're making active income in order to replace our day job.